The day after tomorrow, Europeans will take part in the most important election since decades. Switzerland will decide ultimately whether it will stick by her guns or not. The EU has decided to change the gun laws, and for a reason that I absolutely don't understand. This is applicable for even the members who are not members of the EU. There seem to be some special contracts that I have not read, and for some reason, Switzerland, that is only part of the Schengen area, which is actually about passports. Sorry, it means that they are under the same travel regime like the other EU member states. They follow the same rules, the same procedures when people from outside want to visit. That is supposed to be the Schengen area. Why in the world that comes with obligations for gun legislation is beyond me. And Switzerland is up in arms to fight this new ruling. The proposal is that in future all parts of a weapon must be signed or have a signature, a marking that shows the vendor of the weapon. Semi-automatic weapons can only be granted if you have a special permit for special reasons. Not everybody is then allowed to have semi-automatic weapons. Those who want to compete in shooting contests are allowed to have weapons. However, they must show after 5 years, and again, I mean in intervals of 5 years each, that they are a member of a club or that they are regular shooters. This goes a long way to show the collectivist mindsets of European cultures. For some reason, you must be a member of a club to be somebody, and for your individual rights to carry guns, you must be a group member of sorts, so that you may be granted weapons, and only for sports. If you are a collector, you will have a special license, and it will be centrally registered. For me, this is all totalitarian, to say the least. I personally, I'm a bit out there. I'm a bit more libertarian on gun laws than even most Americans. I believe that the Second Amendment in America actually has as a reason that a citizenship must be able to defend itself against the government, and that really means that you must have the weapons to defend yourself against the military. Many people claim that a professional military can crush down every uprising, but if the ideological differences are so strong that a wide part of the population disagrees with a government, enough handguns and semi-automatic weapons would be enough to stop any government in its tracks. If enough weapons are floating around and enough men are willing to defend their freedoms, then there's basically nothing an oppressor can do. There was once a speech on a Pegida protest by German conservative author Akif Perinci. He said, he told the story of a man who spoke to a policeman about something that he was disagreeing with. I forgot the details, but however, the policeman then said, if you don't like it here, just leave the country. And this is what you get when the authorities lose all respect for the population. And I would really wish that we as human beings were better, and that authorities would stay in check without the potential fear of a violent uprising. And I want to avoid a civil war at all costs and violence at all costs. However, if there is not a potential threat, the reality of life is that authorities will become ever more authoritarian if they fear nothing. It's the reality of life. I just hate to break it to you. I'm not convinced that a school shooting or some other rampage should be used as a club against patriots, against people who want to defend their freedoms. Because as sad as these events are, there is something more important, and you cannot protect children if your government runs wild. There was once an interesting interview on Swedish TV. Maggie Thatcher was asked by a Swedish journalist whether she, as a woman, shouldn't be more peaceful, more peace-loving than she maybe is. And Maggie Thatcher answered, she is for peace, but peace in freedom. And why? Because her argument was, under Stalin, Mao, and Hitler, peace is no peace. And this is very important. There is no peace without freedom. If you have no freedom and your government turns into a tyranny, the children will not be protected either. And you would not live without cars only because many children die in car accidents every single year. So the propaganda strategy of the left to chip away your freedom from one shooting to the next must not affect you. You must keep a cool head and stick by your guns and stick by your arguments. There are more important things than these dozen children that may have been killed on this specific day. As sad as the moment is, it is much more sad if your government loses all respect for you and then becomes violent against you. So this is the thing that you have to weigh against each other. And the Swiss understand this. Switzerland is important because they have a lot of guns and they have no school shootings. If America is the only example for a nation that keeps guns and protects its freedoms, the school shootings will ultimately bring it to its knees. That was it for today, and I see you soon. Bye.